after the presentation was done, we entered into an era of the Great Depression in the 1930s, and then in the 1940s, of course, we have the Second World War, and then the League of Nations was replaced by the United Nations, and nothing was ever done since for replacing this calendar. Now, since about 2002, that World Calendar Organization, have made it a major decision for them to see the calendar change. And the plan is that if they have their way, they were planning it for 2006, but now they have postponed it until 2012. And as per January 1st, 2012, they're really hoping for this calendar now to take place. And it's basically the same as Elizabeth Achilles, what she was presenting in the 1920-30 era, which was not accepted by the League of Nations. So basically, giving you all this background so that you appreciate and understand better what this series will take you through. Now, when Elder Wirtz required and requested the General Conference to do a study on this date change of October 22nd or September 23rd, it took until about 1938 for the committee to be set up and the people to come together and study seriously October 22nd. And according to the committee and the report that I have here, they have confirmed the date of October 22nd after much study that it does stand, and it is not September 23rd, 1844, that is the Great Day of Atonement that year. It is October 22nd. But how would we know this date unless we know the background and how the Millerite ever came up with October 22nd? Let me show you something very interesting, and then I will take you step by step into the Grace Amadon Collection. October 22nd, 1844 is claimed to be the 7th month of the 10th day for the Great Day of Atonement. Well, everybody knows, according to the Gregorian calendar, that October is the 10th month of the 22nd, 1844. So how to reconcile the fact that October 22nd is the 10th of the 7th month? So what I'm going to do now, as I take you step by step in the Grace Amadon Collection and in future study, I would like you to be able to explain not only 1844 like most Seventh-day Adventists know, but also how did they ever come up with the 22nd of October to be the 10th of the 7th month. And the explanation is quite simple actually. The explanation is that you're dealing with two calendars. You're dealing with a Gregorian calendar and you're dealing with a biblical calendar. And those two calendars are just as different as miles and kilometers. If I say I'm going 100 miles per hour, I cannot say I'm going 100 kilometers per hour. Everybody knows that these are not the same. 100 miles per hour is equivalent to, or 60 miles per hour is equivalent to 100 kilometers per hour. So you have to have a ratio to kind of changing it. So if you go 100 kilometers per hour and the police arrest you because you were going 100 miles, I don't think you'll be able to get away with it. You're supposed to go 60 miles per hour, not 100. And that is very difficult when you change country. For example, if you go from Canada, which is the metric system, and end up in the United States where they have still preserved the miles, you have to be careful there. The announcements are not kilometers, they're miles. So basically, and the reverse is true. So basically, this is what the whole procedure of these manuscripts, which are called the Grace Amadon Collection, proceed from. That's where they come from. They come from the request from Pastor Wirtz to be able to study and prove that October 22nd still stands. So basically, I just would like to tell you who was part of that committee, and that might actually give you a good understanding of why did these people took it so much to heart that it was important. These were the people, part of the committee, they were people, they were scholars of our church in these days. Sorry, of the 1938-39 era. The first one being the chairperson was Ellie Froome, which was an historian of our church and chronologist. Milton Kern, Grace Amadon, Frederick Gilbert, Lynn H. Wood, which was the secretary, Million L. Andreasen, which was the top theologian of our church in that era, and Albert Wehrlein. Some of these people you may not know, but these people from 1938 to 39 for approximately 8 months studied carefully the 1844 datas of the Millerite and how they ever came up with that date, and they were confirmed that that date stands. How many of us today, brought to court, would be able to prove that? The Jew will be there and they will say, it cannot be, it was September 23rd. And you will be there and say, no, it was October 22nd. But if you cannot prove it, you will lose the faith, and the faith as well of what you have been standing for. So my goal is by the time we finish this study, you will be able to prove October 22nd, 1844. Now let me introduce you to the Grace Amadon Collection. Grace Amadon Collection is kept in the archive of the Andrews University, and it's basically obtainable at Andrews University. You can actually see it on the internet as well. And the way we were able to get our hand on it was like this. A few years ago, 3 friends of mine from America and myself, we decided to pray and fast to find further information on what we had heard discussed regarding the Luni-Solar calendar. And many of you may never have heard this terminology, but you will get used to it because it is being discussed mightily on the internet and among people. The Luni-Solar calendar is basically a combination of the moon and the sun. And it is actually the calendar that has been used in the Bible when you read your Bible. It is not the Gregorian calendar, which of course did not exist until 1582. The Gregorian calendar comes from the Julian calendar, which is Roman calendar. And as they saw that it was falling behind in time compared with the moon calendar, some scientists were able to adjust it, astronomers, so that the two could fit together. However, from the beginning of time, and proven through many nations and data, the true calendar of the Bible is based on the moon and the sun, not just the sun or not just the moon. It is a Luni-Solar calendation. And this is what this manuscript shows. And maybe not all of you would like to read over 3,000 pages of material, but I chose to do so in the past 3 years now that we have this manuscript. We got them in 2007, 2008, and now 2009, and I'm still reading them. And this again, from the people I mentioned, this is where this comes from. So basically, the Grace Amadon Collection, we have divided it, we have ordered it this way because some other manuscript could be obtained, but they're in different languages, and we didn't feel that we were going to be able to translate them. So what we have here of material is not the complete Grace Amadon Collection, but it's the collection that we wanted to see the most.